Do you think Mike Trout or Ohtani gets traded this offseason?
I do. Not Trout, but I think Ohtani. And I think that, not to be biased, but I think there may be a possibility that it would be to the Mets because of the whole Billy Epler was the one who signed him.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Mets, if you saw at the trade deadline, they didn't really make any big moves. They brought in Tyler Naquin, they brought in Daniel Vogelback. On the trade deadline day, they brought in Darren Ruff and they brought in Michael Givens, all these component pieces because they didn't want to trade any of their prospects for any rentals.
Mm-hmm.
And they ended up saving all their prospects. And I think it was the Friday before the trade deadline, they spoke with Anaheim to kind of gauge to see where they were at. And I think that they were saving those prospects for a trade in the offseason for Ohtani because, they came out real quick and said, hey, we're not trading, Mark Vientos. We're not trading Ronnie Mauricio right now. We're not trading any of our top guys. I think Epler came out and said he wasn't trading any of his top 19 prospects. If you're not doing that, you're not going to get any big guys. And if they were to do that, it probably would have been for Soto. But, Soto was not coming here because of the whole in division thing.
Yeah. And it's interesting right now with Mike Trout. Well, Ohtani's definitely, I think a lot of people are going to, a lot of teams are going to want him. So they're probably going to have to give up a lot. But with Mike Trout, it seems like he's probably just going to stay with the Angels for the rest of his career. And I don't think he's ever going to win a championship. And there's a good chance he might not even win a playoff game or a playoff round. So do you think Mike Trout do you think he ever leaves the Angels in his career? Or do you think he's just going to stay there especially with his contract the way it is?
I think he's going to stay. I think he made a mistake signing that big contract to stay in Anaheim where they really didn't have a game plan. They just went out to sign whatever was the highest, free agents. They went out for Rendon. This year they went out and they gave I don't know if it was it 1 year or 2 years? They gave out a big contract for Noah Syndergaard coming off of Tommy John surgery. I mean, I don't understand some of the moves that they were trying to make there. They got into a good start and then it all fell apart. And now they started trading off their pieces. They traded Brandon Marsh, who was a pest and kind of like a Bader was in the outfield. I don't see Anaheim making any big moves. And now we find out also that he's got a very, bad back injury, which I don't know if it's spinal stenosis, but they said it's not a good thing. So he's going to try to play through it. But, we dealt with something like that in New York with David Wright. The Yankees dealt with it with Dom Mattingly. So the back injuries are something serious. And if he's got spinal stenosis, I worry about his time playing.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad to see Mike Trout not be able to be with a good team. And yeah, the Angels have taken so many swings at big time free agents and it just hasn't worked. And like I said, the Syndergaard thing, then they traded him away through the year. Same thing with Anthony Rendon. He's hurt right now. That wasn't a very good sign. I mean, they signed Pujols a long time ago. That was kind of the start of it all. And he just didn't quite live up to expectation like they signed him to. So it is kind of disappointing, especially with how he's the best baseball player, but yet no one ever gets to see him because the Angels have made the playoffs once and they got swept. So it's really depressing to see that even if you're not an Angels fan, you're just a baseball fan in general. So again, it's depressing. It's disappointing not to see Mike Trout in those big games. Thanks for listening to the Sports Town Podcast, or the STP Pod for short. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and much more. Also, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Sports Town Podcast. If you want to check out more videos of the Sports Town Podcast, click on the right.